is written on the at the entry side of your body. So here inside this test expression, so you have different things like, so writing of a initialization statement, writing your test expression, and then you have an update statement. So these are the three different parts you can write inside your for loop. So and every part of this is separated with writing a semicolon like this. Okay. After initialization, semicolon, test expression, semicolon, and an update statement. And here we'll be using a keyword called as for. For is a keyword used for writing this for loop, and the body is the same. So you can write in between the opening and closing flower braces. So where you can give the body of your for loop. Okay. So first we'll see how this for loop executes. So you can easily understand by looking at the flowchart that is here. Okay. So first it executes the initialization expression, or you can say initialization statement. First it executes the initialization statement, and then after executing the initialization statement, it verifies your test expression. It verifies the test expression. After verifying the test expression, if your test expression is true, it executes in this way. Like it executes the body of your for loop, then execute the update statement, and after updating your statement, it again goes back and re-execute your test expressions. The test expression is re-verified. Suppose if your test expression is false, it executes in this way without executing the body. That means the for loop body will not be executed. So it goes in a different direction. So one direction is for the true statements. That means if the test expression is a true, and the other direction is false when the test expression is false. So where you can write down your initialization statement, your test expression, and the update statement. So everything can be written in one line. So where you will have this initialization, update statement, everything will be there in the while loop as well. In while loop also you have these parts. But in the case of this for loop, we are going to place all these three things in a single line, because that is the syntax written like this. And every part, that is after initialization, after test expression, after update statement, so all the three things have to be separated with a semicolon for sure. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Hello.
Hello.
Yes, yes. Okay, then I'll try to tell you with an example for this.
Sir, I didn't understand. Could you re-explain?
So what you didn't understand, just let me know, so I'll explain that.
Just the gist of the whole thing in short.
So for loop is one kind of an iterative statement. So like iterative statements are of two types. One is the entry control and other type is exit control.
Okay,
So
sir.
writing of this for loop structure is one form of using entry control. That means you will write one test expression, and that test expression is verified at the time of the entry level. So what we'll do after verification is we'll execute some statement. So we'll call that part as the body of the for loop, body of the loop. So to execute these particular statements, or which are written in between the flower braces, so to execute those statements, we have to verify one test expression. So one test expression is verified, and based on the result of the test expression, so your test expressions will always gives you either true or false. Okay, so based on the result of that, we'll decide whether to execute that body or not to execute. And this
What happened? Students, kindly wait. There is some network problem from the trainer end today. So please wait, he will join.
Okay, sir.
Hello?
Yes, sir.
Hello.
Yes, yes. Lost my connection. Hello? So is it visible now?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, yes. First, what it will do is, so first it executes the initialization statement in your for loop. So we have actually three parts here: initialization, test expression, and update statement. Okay, so they execute in this order. So first it executes the initialization statement, and then it executes the test expression what we have written here. And test expressions will have two answers, either true or false. Either true or false. So when your test expression is true, it executes the for loop body, so which is written here. And after completing this for loop body, it executes the update statement. That is your update expression or update statement. After the update statement, it again goes back and re-verifies the test expression that you have written here. Re-verifies the test expression. And this procedure will be repeated until your test expression what you have written there becomes false. If it becomes false, it will stop executing the things. So this is what your iterative statements go.
Sir, for true.
Hello?
Sir, for true.
What?
What true?
What through?
So you have told false, it will stop. But for true.
If the test expression is false, it will stop the execution of the body. If it is true, it will execute the same body.
Okay, sir.
Got it?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'll show you with examples for writing for loop. Okay. So we'll take one example of the previous things of what we have written, like displaying of one statement. Okay, first I'll take hash include stdio.h. I'll take my main function. Okay, let us say I just want to display this statement. I just want to display this statement on the screen. Hi students, how are you doing? That's this statement I want to display. So like you can simply write this statement for one time, it displays for one time, right? So there is no discussion on this. If you write one printf, it displays for one time. Suppose you want to display it for number of times like this, like say 50 times or 100 times on the screen. So for that reason, we'll go for these iterative statements. So for controlling the loop, I'll take the variable called I, which I'll say it as a loop control variable. This variable is called as loop control variable. And I'll write a for loop like this. For So first I have to initialize my variable. So whatever variable I want to control inside this loop, first of all, I'll initialize those variables. So first I'll say I value starts with 1. So this is what my initialization statement is. In this for loop, the initialization statement is I equal to 1. I'm initializing the value of I with 1. And next, I have to design a test expression such that I want to execute this statement for say 100 times. That means from beginning till for the 100 times when I verify this test expression, the expression should be true. When you are verifying the same expression for one time, it should become false. You got my point? You have to design your test expression such that that expression has to be true for the first 100 times. You start verifying from now, you verify it for continuously for 100 times, it should be true. When you verify the same test expression for one time, it should become false. I have to design my test condition in that way. You got it? So I'll write like this: I less than or equal to 100. And I have to write an update statement. So what this update statement is for updating your loop control variable. Updating your loop control variable. So every time I'll increment my I value with 1. And this is how I'll design my according to our flowchart. So now I'll tell you what actually happens. So first it initialize your I value. So what is the value of I? It is initialized with 1. Right? Next, it verifies your test expression. So what is my test expression here?
Hi, students.
1.
How are you doing? Oh, sorry.
What?
One. Nothing, sir.
So it verifies like this: 1 less than or equal to 100. 1 less than or equal to 100. If your test expression is this, 1 less than or equal to 100, is it true or false? That is true. So when it is true, I'll display this statement on the screen. So this statement is displayed on the screen. And that means this is the body of your loop. So once after executing the body of the loop, I'll go and verify my, what I'll verify now? Sorry, I have to execute the update statement. So that means my I value becomes 2. So it verifies your expression like this: 2 less than or equal to so again it is true. Again, this statement is displayed on the screen. That means your body of the loop is executed. So this way it executes for 2, 3. So till 98. So that means 98 less than or equal to 100. It satisfies. 99 less than or equal to 100. It satisfies. 100 less than or equal to 100. This will also be satisfied. And later it becomes 101. So 101 less than or equal to 100. Is it true or false?
False.
So this becomes false. That means your test expression is it is getting true for the first 100 times, starting from 1 to 100. So this statement will be displayed on the screen for the first 100 times. And when it becomes 101, it will not execute the body. See, it got displayed for 100 times. So to get the count, you can simply display the value of I here so that you can get the count also. I told you something to write a program for displaying some numbers or something. So have you tried displaying it? See, you got displayed it for 100 times. So anyone tried writing that program? Displaying numbers from 1 to something, I told 100 or something. Hello? So anyone tried writing or no?
No, sir.
No.
Yes, sir. Trying.
So you got it?
Not right now, sir. Today's lecture, I'll try it later on after class. I wrote it down in the notebook.
Okay. So this is what for displaying or executing a block for 100 times. So suppose if I make it as a like if I say 700, so the same statement, the same block will be repeatedly executed for 700 times. So you got displayed, it got displayed for this many number of times. So got it?
Yes, sir.
So just I'll give you one or two more examples on how to write this for loop. So I will just find out the uh, sum of numbers up to say some n. So I'll ask user to give the value of some number. I'll say it as n. Okay. Not good. So I'll ask the user to enter some number. I'll say it as n. Number is something like 10. I'll just try to find out the numbers the sum of all the numbers between 1 to 10. Like I told you this same example on using how to write it with while loop. So we'll just try the same kind of example with the using for loop. Okay, so first I'll start with so first I'll take few variables like this. I'll start with the variable I, so which is a loop control variable, and I have one more variable say n. So what is the last number? So I'll ask that number from the user. N. So first I'll ask the user to give the value of that n. Excuse me. So I'll read the value of this n from the user. Okay. So then what I'll do is I'll start with the starting point. I'll call it as I equal to 1. So depending on the task, you can take the starting point. Okay. So next, so what is the last number? It is I less than or equal to n. And each iteration, I'll increment the value of I by 1. That means I'll say I plus plus. You can say I plus plus or you can say plus plus I. Anything is fine. So here what I'll do is I'll take one extra variable. I'll call that variable as I'll call this variable as sum, and I'll initialize this variable sum with 0. Okay, I'll take that variable and initialize it with a 0. So now what I'll do is I'll take the current value of I. So what is the current value of I? It is 1. And this sum, this value of I will add to the variable sum. So what happens to the value of I? Sorry, what happens to the value of sum when I add this 1 to sum? This becomes
1.
1. So what I'm adding here?
Value of I.
In. What two variables I'm adding here?
I and N.
In.
N.
Am I adding n here?
No.
So to whom I'm adding the value of 1?
To the sum.
Sum. So that means I'm adding sum and
I.
I. And so when I add these two variables, so I'm getting some answer. So where I'm storing that result? I'm storing that result in the same variable called sum, right?
Yes, sir.
Some value I'm replacing it with a new value. The old value of sum is getting replaced with the addition of I and sum. So simply I'm placing these two, adding these two and storing it into sum again. So this will be repeated till the value of I is less than n or equal to n. That means I will add the value of I when it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 7, 8, 9, and 10 also. So there it becomes 10 less than or equal to 10. So 10 is also added to sum. And when the value of I becomes 11, 11 less than or equal to 10. So there the condition fails and I'll not add anymore. Simply what I'll do is I'll come out of my for loop and I'll display something to the user. Printf sum is percentile D, and here I'll display the value of sum. Okay. So it is asking to enter the value of n. Suppose if the value of n is 8, it means